an incredible story that Mission taps into the zeitgeist and the cultural consciousness of the technology that we are exploring now, that we are having to find out what to do with. And I think that kind of creates great stakes for a drama like this. Hey, Joe.
Hayley. Hey, Hayley. Holy shit, that movie's incredible. I swear, I love the franchise, and I don't know how it tops itself every single time. And my God, like I felt like my heart rate was elevated from beginning for this movie to end. And I don't think I slept for like 4 hours after. It's cinematic adrenaline. It's great. How did past projects like playing Peggy Carter help you prepare for this role? Because it's really different than anything you've ever played before.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for noticing that. I agree, it is very different. I think, I'm 17 years into my career, so in that time I've developed a work ethic that's very focused and disciplined, but it also has asked of me to adapt to different kind of filmmaking styles or different characterizations. And so you create this kind of flexibility to be able to take on new challenges. And that approach then remains the same, regardless of the genre or whether it's more a physical or more a literary kind of role. And I think with Grace, I'd come into it in a position where McHugh had seen me in a play 10 years previously and had taken me out to dinner and said, I want to work with you, I just don't know what it is yet. And so when he brought me in for the screen test to meet Tom, what they said was they were looking for an actress rather than someone to fit a character that's already written, but someone that would collaborate with them. And based on my sort of level of commitment to the process of discovering new things, then the character would naturally emerge, which is why I feel like I was just having so much fun with Grace, why she's so mischievous.
I love Grace. I think she's a welcomed addition to this franchise. Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about Grace, and did you actually learn sleight of hand, and how efficient did you get at pickpocketing?
Yeah, good question. Yes, so Grace, I would say, is consistently inconsistent, a lone wolf. She's hypervigilant. She's out for herself out of necessity because she's had to. It's how she's survived. She's learned skills on the job as opposed to have had any real formal training, which means she can be quite scrappy, and she can also duck and dive and adapt to situations. And of course, that shares an origin story with Ethan Hunt, who kind of has a similar background. And they are sort of two sides of the same coin, or there's a kind of cat and mouse feel to them, like siblings in a way. And that creates also a kind of exasperation between them that becomes also very endearing and very funny. We had a brilliant sleight of hand teacher on set with us. And what I loved is this idea that she was a put pocket as well as a pick pocket, which was totally new to me as a thing. And I was just going, this is brilliant. She can plant things on people so that she doesn't have anything. She's not going to get caught. And then go and find them later and just like pick their pockets and get that thing back. So it's like she had all these moving, walking security boxes wherever that she went, that she was sort of puppeteering, which was so cool. You might want to check your pockets after this interview. I know it may be virtual, but my skills they runneth over.
I would actually believe that 1,000%. Here's the thing. Grace has to trust Ethan in these death-defying situations, much like Hayley has to trust Tom in a lot of these stunt action scenes. Can you talk to me about how the Mission Impossible stunts differ from anything else and how Tom Cruise elevates that?
Yeah, completely. He's an athlete. He is a stuntman, and he is one of the best in the world. And so when he comes to set, not only is he fully engaged in the technical side of things and the acting side of things, but he is so clear and aware physically of what needs to happen for a stunt to go not only smoothly, but in a dynamic way, multiple times, different lenses, different angles, different levels of performance. And his commitment to knowing how to be competent at something and therefore safe, because he's not careful in the sense of putting himself on guard. He actually kind of goes, I want to be fearless in this way. I can only be fearless if I really know what I'm doing technically and physically and being really good at it. And so for me, I trust him implicitly because I also know he trusts himself, and that his level of detail and attention and his care for us, and very much his care for me, was very much a mentor. It's a bit like having someone in your boxing coach in the ring going, come on, you can do it. There was a real sense of trust from him that I had earned, that I was able to drift him while he's in the passenger side and handcuffed to me, which is a huge, huge thing for him to have put his life in my hands for that time. And that was also because, over time, we had developed that trust together, that I had been fully embracing the process and what it would take to be able to get up to that level with him.
I can watch that scene and the train scene about 100 more times. They're brilliant. Now, last question I have for you is the one thing I've always liked about the Mission Impossible movies is that the tech has always felt a little science fiction, whereas the AI and the entity feels very, very real. Can you talk about what that means to you as almost a cautionary tale?
I think it talks about the neutrality of power, that power in itself, like money, for example, which is obviously a manifestation of power, it's not the thing in itself, but it's how it's harnessed and how it's used and by whom. And how, the one who has the power, it will often dictate how that power is then used or misused. And so I think that's it's an incredible story that Mission taps into the zeitgeist and the cultural consciousness of the technology that we are exploring now, that we are, having to find out what to do with. And I think that kind of creates great stakes for a drama like this.
I couldn't agree with you more. Hayley, I cannot wait to see this movie again. It is phenomenal. I don't even know what Dead Reckoning 2 is going to be. I don't know how you top this, but incredible job. Thank you so much for your time. This film is phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Take care, Hayley.
Take care.